What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my show on HollywoodAstrology.tv, Astro Buzz, where I go into all the astrology and look and see what is going on in the world and connect it with the stars up above. I'm your host, astrologer, and DJ David Palmer, the Leo King. So this is a special edition because actually I want to let everybody know that live streaming is the future, okay? Live streaming is the future. And the only way that really the message is going to get out there the best is through live streaming. So next week, we're rebuilding the studio to make a really awesome live studio that's going to have full Astro Gossip awesomeness, multiple cameras, be able to take on live guests, do everything, do Skype calls, do the whole 9 yards with the full background, because I want to be able to do the live stories and the Astro Buzz live. So I'm redoing all this. This week, we're kind of just doing a little bit of a test, I guess you could say, and see how this goes. But you know what? It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this. So before we get on this, I'm just really quick sharing all this stuff because I there's so much to share, and you know, it's not easy to run all this at once. So I'm just sharing this on my social media. If you could share this on your social media, I would truly appreciate it a lot, actually. I'd appreciate it if you could, because we are really trying to step up our game here. So the more the better, you know what I mean? The more the merrier, yes. And I want to wait till we get some people in the room here before we really start getting into the show. If you have never watched the show before, this is Astro Buzz. I like to take the political stories, what's going on in the news, and combine it with the astrology, talk about the astrology, really look and see what is going on. When it comes to what's going on with horoscope-wise, that's what my app's for. So join me on the Leo King app if you want to watch your daily horoscope, look and see how it's affecting your sun sign. This is more of like what's going on in the world and basing it off what I see in the media, in the press. So I think that this is a totally different kind of aspect. If you want more of like your horoscope, I would definitely go to the app. That's the best place to look at it. It's the Leo King app. So you can find that on Google, Android, or you can find that on iPhone as well. Multitasking is something that I do very well, if you can't tell, as I am sharing this all over the place right now. And we have a lot of stories to talk about this week. We have a very depressing story to start off first. We're going to try and finish it with some positivity at the end and kind of have some fun. But yes, you know, there was another terror attack in Munich. I am way up to date with this right now. We are live on the news with this, in the newsroom, got a lot of things going. And we're going to talk about how the astrology is related to this. But before we get there, I just want to say, you know, a prayer and a positive energy and a very important notion that, you know, these are intense times with Mars coming out of shadow in Scorpio. It rules war, it rules death, it rules, you know, intensity. There are positive sides of Mars in Scorpio, which I kind of do want to talk about in a little bit, but you know, this is definitely a very intense time. So let's do this first. Let's move scenes here. Let's get rid of this. Yes, let's go into really what I'm noticing here. We want to. There we are. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. Hold the phone here. That didn't really work too good. Blacking myself out there. Display capture. Window capture. Yes. It doesn't want to show that. It's kind of weird. As you can see, I am getting used to this as much as I can right now. Okay. So we got the Munich rampage to start things off with. Suspected gunman dead. One of them, there was up to even maybe a couple gunmen that are dead, and we were up to 9 people as of right now that have passed away. And it's so interesting. The sun just moved into Leo today. It just was on the final degrees of Cancer, which is a very intense spot. But, you know, this isn't a very easy story to talk about. it seems that this gun violence and this death with gun violence has been in the story for the last 2.5 to 3 weeks very intensely. And, you know, I think the main reason of this, and we're going to talk about this, is it's we're going to get out of this. Hold on. Yeah. The main thing is, you got to remember, this Mars energy is so intense. Mars in Scorpio, it just went direct within the last month. So it's at full kind of power, but it's not at the same time. It's struggling to get its power back. Mars doesn't get its full power until it reaches 8 degrees of Sagittarius, which is going to happen. Well, this is going to happen the end of August. So, you know, middle to end of August, right when Saturn goes direct. So, you know, we've got some time, folks, to kind of have to still go through this. This isn't something that's just going to kind of go away per se. It's just not going to just go away. I'll be honest. These last degrees of where we're at right now are intense in the astrology. They're like overly intense, to be honest with you. So I think it's really important to kind of note that this is a very kind of intense time right now. And I know it might seem like it's overwhelming at some times when you feel the terror, because Mars in Scorpio is the most, besides Saturn, which we saw Saturn in Scorpio from 2012 to 2015. But Mars here is a different thing. It's a much more like upfront and personal, where Saturn kind of is, you know, I can't describe it any better. Mars in Scorpio is like, whoa, that was freaky. Saturn in Scorpio scares you to where you hide and like hide under the bed covers. Like Mars in Scorpio is like, whoa, that freaks me out. I'm going to keep moving. You know, it's kind of like if there's a big explosion in a crowd, you just keep moving. That's Mars in Scorpio. Saturn in Scorpio is like, we need to go hunker down somewhere. It's like kind of like we need to go bury ourselves. Like it's got a Cancerian kind of vibe, but the darker, more fearful side. Like if you ever watched the movie War of the Worlds, you know, that kind of is kind of the energy of Saturn in Scorpio. We went through that for the last 3 years, and then finally it's like, are these robots gone? And are these aliens all gone? Well, no, they're not gone yet, exactly. But, you know, we are coming to a place to where they're almost all gone. We're all starting to come out. We're all starting to come out of our holes and be like, what's going on? How are we going to get through this? And we will get through this. I really want people to know that. Like, this is not going to just be like forever. This is not going to just be like the way that the world is forever. Like, I think that there's this fear that this is just like the way the world's going to be forever. It's going to be dark. It's going to be scary. It's going to be crazy. And it's going to be mayhem. And it's going to be, you know, terror and chaos everywhere, when really this is just like a temporary aspect right now. There's moments in life where things are amazing and beautiful and ever shining bright and beautiful. But, you know, then there's times like these where you deal with Mars, shadow, retrograde, direct, all in Scorpio. You know, it's not the easiest of things. So I wanted to show everybody something really quick here. So I've been saying this in other Astro Buzzes, but I just want to do it again live. Here's Mars, okay, about to approach Saturn. We'll make this even bigger, okay? Here's Mars about to approach Saturn. This is going to happen over the next 3 weeks, okay, everybody? Saturn is in Sagittarius. It is now starting to stop, and it's going to stop on the star Antares right here. So even though it looks like it's far away from it, imagine this star exactly on top of Saturn, okay? Now, Mars is getting ready to come on top of all this space. Let's do a little bit of fun stuff here. I wish this thing did the window thing that much better. I'm gonna have to try it right now. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to work now. Window capture, yes. It will not. doesn't like this. It just doesn't like it. Doesn't like to do the window thing, but I guess we could do the display. Okay. We all good? Yeah, I gotta double check this. So if you all don't know, Antares is the alpha star in the constellation of Scorpio. Now that's if you go into the background of Scorpio, okay, people? That's the, based off the precession of the equinox, we are at that spot in Scorpio. But this is kind of what gives Scorpio its kind of very intense aspect. And it's at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, 947, okay? And at 947 Sagittarius is exactly where Saturn is about to go stationary, direct, and go forward in the next couple weeks. So if we do this here, let's see here, okay? Let's do a little astrology for the peeps out there. I have so many charts up in here. Yeah, let's do this November 1st, 93 here. So let's do 2nd of August when I know for sure that Mars comes out of Scorpio here. Okay, everybody? And if you guys don't know your astrology transits either, oh, I can't even spell today. Okay, ephemeris. Sorry, I should have had all this stuff going, but you know, this is a live show, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Okay, let's do this. Boom, booyah. So Saturn goes direct. Look at that, 947. Do you guys see that, folks? Okay, let me zoom in really, really powerful for the people who need to wear some glasses. 947. Look at that Saturn. That's Saturn. Look at that. That's Sagittarius. Ooh, look at that. 947. Well, look at this. Antares is the alpha star in the constellation of Scorpio. It's literally found in the heart of the Scorpion at 947 Sagittarius. This is where a lot of like people who don't understand astrology and fixed, tropical astrology is understanding that this is Sagittarius, folks. This isn't Scorpio. That constellation just keeps moving because of our precession of the equinox, but the alignment of the sun's path always hits this spot every year. And the fixed star Antares represents one of the most important far archangel stars, okay? It's also a star in the west, not the east, so I'm just going to put that out there. It causes malevolence, destructiveness, liberality, broad-mindedness, evil presages, and danger of fatality, and makes its natives rash, ravenous, headstrong, and destructive to themselves by their own obstinacy. Man, I got Uranus conjunct this star. I'm kind of fucked. But anyway, when you got Saturn on top of this, okay, which, if you guys don't know what traditional Saturn means in astrology, you know, it definitely means difficult times, hard times, things that are very intense, learning lessons. It's a malefic planet. It's not very friendly per se. Okay, it's not the most friendly planet. Okay. Scorpions are feared and revered throughout mythology. There was a recurrent theme of a fear and the nature from these heavenly gods. The Egyptian solar god Horus was stung by a scorpion and sent to the underworld to reign as the green-skinned king Osiris, okay? Same thing in astrology. The Leo, when the sun, it rules the sun, and when the sun comes into Scorpio, it gets kissed, it gets stung by the scorpion, and that's why the Scorpio rules the dark, is because on October 23rd, when the sun enters into this place of the fall, it is when we are at the most, we're starting to get really dark. It's a very dark position. But Antares is a very intense, hard star, and it is humongous, by the way. Like, if you want to see the size of Antares, okay, comparison, okay, like, I want to give a really good comparison of how big Antares is. Okay, so here's the size of our planets, right? All right. Here's the size of our planets. Here's the size of our sun. Here's the size of our Earth. Now, here's Arcturus, which is pretty effing big, which opposes, okay, this spot. So we can talk about Arcturus if you guys want, but we're going to talk about Antares. Do you see that? Do you see Antares' size and how much it revels even over Arcturus and how it revels over Sirius? All right, we're back, everybody. I lost audio there for a second. My batteries died on my thing, and you guys are still seeing a bunch of stuff. Ugh. Not easy. That things, things aren't easy in the world right now. Things are just not easy. But you got to keep trucking, and without getting frustrated. I think that's this just doing this live and showing, oh my gosh, the batteries died, I lost audio, and now I'm having to use a different audio and then come back to the original audio is just a sign while that whole display was coming up. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It really is not easy. It's hard, So hold on one second. We'll be back live here. Hello? All right. All right, we're back now. So I really want to go back to this Antares because I think people are really appreciate what's going on here to show the size of that again. We got kind of, disfigured there. But so there's the size of Antares compared to our sun. Let's go backwards again. There's the sign of Arcturus. Look at Arcturus. It's so small compared to Antares. And then look at how much bigger Arcturus is than our sun. We are not dealing with a small star here, folks. We are dealing with a major, major thing. And the fact that Saturn is going to exactly stop, what's the date? The 12th and the 13th, okay, of August. And look at Mars. Let's do this. Here will be Mars on the 2nd, comes out of Sag. And guess where Mars is going to be during that date? 4 degrees, within 5 degrees. And it's going to conjunct exactly on the 23rd and 24th, right when we enter into Virgo. Now, here's the stuff. Oh, the new moon's August 2nd. But how funny. Let's look at this in astrology and what you'll be able to see in the sky. Here's Mars coming out of Scorpio on August 2nd, approaching Saturn. Look at this spot in your chart. Also, look up in Antares, Saturn, Mars, okay? In the sky, right? I always love to use this picture. You'll be able to see up in the sky Mars as it will pass Saturn during this time in August. And Antares will be exactly conjunct. You'll actually see Mars and Saturn closer to this Antares when you look southwest at night, probably around 9 p.m., 9, right when the sun comes down. See how the sun is still a little bit there? That's when you'll be able to start to see this transit. This is when things are going to get very intense. Saturn is the train. Saturn is the time clock. Saturn is, it is moving things forward. So a lot of things are going to come into your baggage to move forward by the middle of August, right? When Saturn comes direct and Mars conjuncts Saturn on the 23rd and 24th, and we enter into the sun in Virgo, is when things are going to get hot and heavy. We also enter into the big energy here. So to combine this with the stories of what's going on, because I wanted to show you how deep and mythological this goes, this destructiveness, this liberality, this broad-mindedness, that's one positive thing of it, but it's got evil presages and danger of fatality and makes its natives rash. Makes its natives rash. So, okay. That's to help with the Munich story. I can't. The sun came in Leo today, and I said if you watch my end cut, actually, sure, the sun's great in Leo. Mercury's in Leo. There's a lot of positive, loving energy. But when you got this Mars and Scorpio thing going down, it's not that simple. It's darkness meeting light. It's extreme craziness, basically, because it's dark versus light. It's how do you bring love and how do you feel love when there's these dark things happening and these big things coming up and this karma over the last 2 years, especially because Mars is exactly where it was in August of last year. So let's do 2015. Okay. Let's look at where Saturn was this time last year. 29 Scorpio retrograding. August, it went direct to 28. So actually, we are exactly at 26 degrees. We have to go back to 2014 still. We haven't even come to the 2015 spot. Look at this. This is going to freak you guys all out. And if you don't watch astrology, you're going to know why us astrologers are complete nerds. Because Mars is at 26 degrees right now, and it's been from 23 to 26. So where were you in your life from October of 2014 and the freaky things you were dealing with then all the way through November of 2014? This is exactly where Saturn was, and it will mark this. Where were you November 2014? I recommend that everybody goes deep into their Facebooks to figure that out. You know? I think it'll help out a lot. It will help you out a lot. November 2014. Where were you? What are you overcoming and dealing with those issues? In the next 3 weeks, coming up to this August spot, and whatever's going to happen up in the news right now, all the stuff that's going to come out is going to be dealing with a lot of this Antares stuff. The more that we get Saturn on it, the more that Mars is coming to approach it on August 2nd, we are going to be facing head front more of this hope, positivity, belief issues, and how powerful this religious stuff is going to be. The other reason why, and we're going to turn it back to a little bit a display capture here, is when you look at this, look at as Saturn stops at 9:52, and look at how it's going to pretty much stop. Where does it exactly stop? Oh, yeah, we already showed that it stops exactly on 9:47. We're going to have Neptune that's squaring it. This means delusional beliefs, delusional, or even deceiving beliefs. There's a lot of deception here. And so it's definitely going to be kind of a weird thing. Now, let's move on from Munich. This VP choice, right? So the VP for Hilary, right? I've already done his chart. I already got his chart up, but looks like she selects Tim Kaine. So Tim Kaine is going to be the man, it looks like. Now, I have already done Tim Kaine's chart. I want to get his picture up at least so we can look at his picture before we do all the horoscope stuff on this. Hold on here. You don't want to watch that. Of course, they only show a video. There's no picture. Like, can't I just get a? Can a dude just get a picture? Here he is. So this is gonna be Hilary's choice. He's from Virginia. He's a senator. Now let's look at his astrology. I actually already put it into the chart horoscope right here. Okay. And somebody gave me a better... I found his actual birth time, so give me a second here. His actual birth time is 7:59 a.m. in St. Paul, Minnesota. $7:59 in St. Paul. St. Paul. Okay. Minnesota. Boom. 7:59 in St. Paul, Minnesota. 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 Okay. It's good that we got a birth time out of this because here's the deal. And we're going to give my honest opinion. All right. I gave my honest opinion on Pence. I think Pence was a decent choice. Pence has a good heart, but he can be deceived easy. So don't forget that when I looked at Mike Pence's chart, or he can be blindly jump into things without seeing all the things. He's got Mars square Neptune exactly. Now we are going to run some solar arcs. We are going to run everything because I got this guy's birth time. So you guys are going to see how I do a reading. All right, now I'm going to go to display. Here we go. All right. So let's look at this guy's chart here. First thing that really gets me is this sun square moon. He's born with the sun in Pisces. He's got the moon square in Gemini. Really mutable chart. Look at this guy's mutable energy, right? Sun, Moon, Saturn, Pluto, and Mercury. A lot of mutable stuff with some fixed energy. Saturn and Sun are fixed in mutable energy. This guy changes a lot of his stuff, okay? He's also a sun in the 12th house Pisces, and he has Neptune that's been transiting on this spot. He's also got Saturn, which is semi-squaring him throughout this year. His moon, or his sun, sits on Hilary's moon, which I think is funny. So they've got a really deep sun-moon connection. That's positive for them. But let's talk about this guy. Emotionally speaking, especially with the moon in Gemini and Saturn opposing his moon, he's not in the best emotional position, okay? And he's got a lot of emotional stuff going on in this life. He's got Mercury square the moon, so he doesn't know how to communicate his emotions correctly sometimes. Sometimes his emotions, he can say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Trust me, I know, because I've got Mercury and the moon square. I'm not somebody, you know, like you're talking to somebody with this aspect. I'm also a sun in the 12th. He's a sun in the 12th. Pisces sun in the 12th with an Aries rising. With Neptune in his 12th house, this guy is kind of either A, he's completely asleep behind the wheel and completely unconscious, just going through life, or B, this is the most spiritual man on the whole universe. You guys are going to have to make that call. I don't know about this guy to make this call, but judging from this aspect, judging from his moon, judging that the solar eclipse stuff is going to be happening opposing him, and he's about to go through a Saturn return. You know, this guy doesn't. I don't think realize what he's like stepping into. Now, as an astrologer, I will say this: this is a good chart for somebody that's about to go through a major shift, right? This is my prediction. If anybody were to fall apart during the fall, which let's find the dates for the when is the VP debate? That is going to be the question, okay? Debate date, okay? October 2nd, 2008 was the last one. We need to find 2016 though. Okay. Vice presidential debate is going to be on October 4th, 2016. See how we do this stuff? Okay. So let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Okay. October 4th, 2016. Let's just... Okay. Let's just see what the transits are going to be affecting him on that day and how well he's going to do with this energy. Because for some reason I feel a fall apart happening with this guy, or it's almost going to be a little bit too much for him. Jupiter's going to be exactly on his descendant that day. Look at that. Jupiter, 5 degrees. Trining his moon. That's a good sign. The moon will be in Scorpio that day on top of the, with the moon. That's going to be, or with Venus, that's going to be good as well for him. But see, Saturn is about to be leaving his 8th house and enter into his 9th house that day. Mars will be at the top of his chart where his Mars is. Pluto will be direct over his Mars, right? Pluto at 14. He's in a good position. He might win the VP debate. I'm just going to be honest with people. I mean, I haven't looked at Mike Pence's chart yet, but this guy's got some good things aligning, you know. But this fall might be very, you're going to watch this guy change. He's very changeable. He's very mutable. Hilary is extremely fixed. I'm going to go back to me here, okay? Hilary has a very fixed chart. She's not flexible. She doesn't change much. This guy that you're seeing right now, she is going to mold, blend, change, puppet this guy out hardcore, and he is easily mendable, pliable, moldable, extremely. So just know that, okay? And his chart is Sun in the 12th house, Pisces with an Aries rising. You know, it's a very, I put off that I've understanding where things are going, but I really don't have an effing clue. Emotionally, I think I know, but really, there's all these squares to Mercury and squares to the sun, and Neptune's on top of this, you know, and he's all water, right? He's a water sign. So is Hilary. It's like the water ticket versus the air ticket. Are we going to be looking at life from a mental aspect with Donald Trump and Pence, or are we going to be looking at life through a watery, emotional world and sensitive world? You know, so that's kind of where we're dealing with things with this. With this. And now that we have the VP choices and we have the actual picks of who's going to be, well, we don't know yet. We haven't seen the Democratic convention, right? We don't even know. Could be a contested convention. Bernie Sanders fans going crazy. You never know. Although next week looks pretty good. Astrologically, it's a mellow week, not as intense as this week was with a full moon. And that's where we're going to talk about what happened at the RNC now, why it was so crazy, why it was so intense, why it was so overwhelming in some ways. Some people didn't like Donald Trump's speech. A lot of people didn't. Everywhere I'm looking, you know, people are saying, "Oh man, I didn't like that. I didn't like his speech. It was dark. It was scary." Well, yeah, it's crazy times, you know. One thing about Mars and Scorpio, I will say this. Pardon me as I chill my Altoid. But one thing about Mars and Scorpio is you either bring such raw, honest truth that it's scary, and that's the way I would look at Donald Trump's speech, okay, that happened, is that it was such honest to God truth, it's scary, okay? The other part of Mars and Scorpio and what we're dealing with in shadow is manipulative, and you use this to manipulate. Or you could look at Donald Trump's speech as it was extremely, extremely manipulative. Everybody, of course, wants to know my opinion. I think there were a lot of things that Donald Trump said, especially about a rigged system and about the way that, especially how Hilary got off so easily about this email thing and the FBI, and then the way that Bill Clinton kind of came in with the whatever you call it, the Attorney General the day right before. Like that's some weird stuff. And on my show, I want to let everybody know when I do politics, when I do Astro Buzz, when I do all this, I don't come from a biased place like I like Trump or I like Hilary or I like Gary Johnson or I like Ron Paul, even though he's been out of the race for 4 years. You know, that's my dude. I'm a much more libertarian than anybody. But, you know, I agreed with Donald Trump on a lot of that stuff. I'm going to be honest. Like the corruption aspect, that the government is corrupt. That there's a lot of things that are hidden, that people are making money off it, you know, like that's all scorpionic kind of stuff being, you know, described and shown. And I think people have a hard time hearing it and take it, you know, a certain way. And I think that he also used part of his speech to manipulate people with fear and stuff like that. Sure, I agree with that too. So I think, you know, with Mars and Scorpio, you're going to see both sides. Now with Hilary, you're going to see the same thing this coming up week, right? Like, which I think is kind of a funny thing because, you know, with Hilary, you've got what's coming up this week. I think a very much more manipulative message, manipulating people into going a certain direction and way. What's going to be kind of the truth aspect that she's going to bring up? I don't know. I mean, who knows? We don't know yet. But with these two, you know, I think it's funny that out of all of it, these two were connected at one time in their life, right? You know? And now here they are, like, battling against each other in such a really gnarly way. But Mars in Scorpio is not gone through the Democratic Convention. It is not gone. We have Saturn approaching the star Antares. This stuff with Antares that I showed earlier, that you can watch back, and you will see the real stuff going down. Like, you will see it. You know, like, it is intense. You know, like life is definitely way different, and things are changing so fast. How do you know what is manipulative? How do you know what is not? How do you know what is truth? How do you know what is not? Your own beliefs are determining that right now. So you need to kind of watch your own beliefs, and I think you got to do your own research, and you got to come from a place. Personally, how I would read this as an astrologer is like, you need to come into a place where you need to really take back and not let what the outside world is saying affect you. Go with what you know, you feel deep inside of yourself is right. Where do you feel like you're being deceived on beliefs, or where you're being pulled to believe a certain way? Like, I think that you got to be careful to not lose yourself and starting to think like, oh yeah, I can just, I don't know, like, I can't put this any better, but like, some people I think are just like truly losing themselves in beliefs and hearing one thing or seeing one thing and just like losing it. Like this whole story this week of the girl at the RNC and the way that she did her wave, which was like a Nazi salute, right? Like that to me, I was like, I don't know. It was a little like the video to me. It doesn't. It's not a swastika, or it's not a salute that's that way. Okay, like let's show the video, because I'm sorry. It just like it's more of a pageant wave than anything, and people like lost it, started to think Nazi stuff, and went crazy. So I'm going to pull up the video real quick, okay? And give me 1 second here. 1 second. And here we go.
United States of America.
Now that to me, okay, like she's pointing all over the place. We're going to replay it again. Like, I mean, come on. Like, that is not looking like some Nazi youth pointing up and doing a Nazi salute. I'm sorry. Like, it is a little awkward, I'll admit, but it's waving like a pageant. She looks like a pageant girl. I bet you this girl was in pageants her whole life. But she's also pointing to people up in a crowd. Now, if there was nobody up in the crowd, maybe I would believe that. Maybe I would. I'm just going to keep replaying this again, because what if you were in that position? Number one, you're talking to 10,000 people in a place. Number two, you're on TV with like 30 to 40 to 50 million people watching. You're not in your like A game. You know, like that looks kind of like uncomfortable. And let me point to you, like Donald Trump's got it down. You know, when Donald Trump does it, he throws up the thumbs up. But he's been on the campaign trail doing it. This girl doesn't do this. Okay. Like this girl just she just doesn't do that stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, when you got Donald Trump, right, like his speech last night, what I thought the funniest was about his speech is the
More
is
from
like
me along.
how gangster he thinks he is when
will come first once again.
he does this thing where he backs away. He backs away from.
My plan
Let's find it. I want to find it.
is now.
Well, like,
I wake up.
hold on. I gotta find it.
I have embraced.
See how he'll just like look at the crowd, then just look.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on. I gotta find it.
Best.
Okay. He'll get everybody all riled up. He'll get everybody real riled up. And then what you'll notice is he'll leave the booth or the podium, and then he'll come back and like a gangster, like adjust his coat. Like he's like some thug on the street, which I thought was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I couldn't believe this guy does this. But he's not doing a Nazi
This includes
like salute.
with our greatest ally.
But one thing that I will
in the
say is he
region,
does like to throw up the
state
okay
of Israel.
like Illuminati sign a lot. I see that all the time. Although what's funny is when I'm channeling astrology, I throw that up a lot. If you guys don't notice either, I throw that up a lot too. But it's interesting. I'm trying to see if we could like find a way. Yeah, see how there it is. There it is. Did you guys just see it? How he adjusts his coat like he's some thug, like he just closed the deal, like he just went and tapped the girl or something. Like he did this. There, here it is. Boom, pop, like yo. And the way that he looks, I just thought that was hilarious. I thought it was, definitely when it comes to Trump, confidence is not an issue. Pence, his speech this week, he came with a much more really relaxed, much more toned. Now you got to see what's interesting about these two. That is interesting is they're both Geminis, but they're both playing out two different twins. Like Pence plays out the one twin that's kind of much straightforward. I've got things to go. He plays that really well. And then Donald plays kind of the, Looney Tune, New York brash twin. But the thing is that they're both Geminis. So Pence didn't bring out his two twins as much, I thought. He stayed very consistent with staying the same kind of twin. Either when he drinks alcohol or something, another twin of his comes out, and I don't know if I would ever want to see what his other twin looks like. But Donald Trump's other twin comes out throughout his RNC speech all the time. Like, 1 minute he's like,
in the region, the state of Israel.
Like, I'm serious, the state of Israel. And then there it is. There's the serious tone. Like, yes, let me be gangster, fix my shirt, do this thing. He's going to do it again right now. I'm on this scene. So here's the serious. Let me pop that. Oh, yep, okay. And then there's the laughing where he kind of
lawlessness.
Like, is it serious or is it not? And then
Her plan.
he can really shapeshift very fast. He's a full moon in Sag. He's a Gemini. His twins are pretty easy to find. The serious Trump and then the serious and then the I'm kind of all over the place,
He will fix TSA.
Let's see if I can find it.
But now, my soul words to you tonight.
I'm trying to find it, everybody. I wish I would have had the clips done, but there's the serious one. Yep, serious twin. Yes,
to all Americans tonight.
To all Americans tonight.
In all of our cities.
Yes.
And we
There's the.
will
Did you see?
make
There's the.
America
Okay.
Great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
Didn't show it, but you guys all know. So it'll be an interesting thing. The thing about Trump and Pence is they're unpredictable because they're unpredictable because you don't know what you're gonna get. But the thing about Hilary and this new guy, she's pretty predictable and manipulative. We know that. This guy is a puppet. He's going to be whoever Hilary wants him to be and be the fiddle. And I love Pisces. And Pisces are winning with Jupiter opposing them in relationships. So, of course, he would win and get this relationship. The only thing that scares me, and I'll be honest with everybody, the only thing that scares me about this new ticket with Hilary and this person is Kaine, he's called, right? It's like, he can be manipulated easy, even though his Aries rising says, no, I'm going to do things my way. Hilary knows how to get inside this guy, get to his 12th house, get to his Mercury, get to his sun in the 12th, and get to his moon, and literally just like, and they both have moon squares. So they both emotionally come from different places. Whereas Trump and Pence, Trump is a full mooner and Pence is a new mooner. So they actually kind of work a little bit better emotionally. This guy and her, even though the sun moon connection is there, they have a moon square that. So it's like a odd, like we like each other, but we don't emotionally fit well together. So I would say that the double Gemini combination is a little bit, even though it's both crazy because you have 4 twins and they're all over the place. This Kaine guy is the puppet to Hilary. And the thing is at least Pence has the ability to do things that I think Trump will let him do. Like, he's got so much Leo, Uranus, and they both have Sun, Uranus sextile. They both like freedom. They both like to do things. And I think Trump will allow him to do that. I think Trump's actually looking for somebody to kind of help him figure things out. Where I think Hillary's like, fill this spot. I've got it all under control. I'm doing this and just be what I want you to be. Like, and what better than to pick a sun in the 12th Pisces? I mean, like, sure, why not? With an Aries rising to look like, I've got it all under control, but really, it's like a facade, you know? There's this really deeper thing that you really don't know what's going on down there. So that's what I have to say. You know, and I think that, you know, I've been really trying to help people understand what's going on with this whole intense situation of terrorism and people dying and guns and stuff like that. It's not because people have guns. It's not because people don't. It really is this Mars transit. It is this Saturn on Antares. It is Mars and Saturn going to conjunct near Antares. I've showed the visuals. I'll show it one more time. Because, you know, like, I think it is so important for people to really see that this is not a joke. It really is not a joke. Okay? This is all about to happen in the next 3 weeks. Saturn going direct on this star at the exact degree of the star. Exact. I showed that at the beginning of the video. You can watch this if you're just catching me late here. I don't even know how many people are live or watching or what's going on, you know. But it's a big deal. And it's all coming up here. And what's even crazier to end this uncut or this Astro buzz for this week, September is when it really gets the most insane with the eclipses. This week coming up is the best little break you're going to get. And the next week, that first week of August. But once that August 12th, 13th comes, sure, Mars will be in Sagittarius, but it'll still be in shadow in Sagittarius in the sign where Antares is. Guess what? It's The whole world is going to change in the next 2 months. I've been saying this since the beginning. You guys, if you watch my horoscopes, I keep rambling it. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it forever. The most intense time this year was going to be coming to the buildup of September. And the stuff that we've been seeing is nothing compared to what's coming. It is nothing. Nothing. This Mars and Scorpio stuff is just background noise. This is just old fears and suppressions from November of 2014. And then next month we'll be coming into the finishing up of August and July and August of 2015. That's stuff that you dealt with. And spewing out on our streets, spewing out of our souls. We're all spewing this stuff out, and we're seeing it all over the world. We're seeing it play out everywhere. And so I think it's super important to think about that and think about how, those things are going. So it is, it is what it is. I mean, like, life is crazy. Look at this picture. I mean, what's really going on? Maybe that's something we need. Maybe nobody's been thinking about this. And I think some people have. Maybe there's some conspiracy theories out there and people. But having these two who used to be connected together and now they're running against each other. And I mean, look at this picture. I wonder who's on the arm right there behind Hilary, They do have a connection to each other. It means there's a connection behind all this. I wonder what it is. I have a couple more things to talk about when we come back, but before we do, I definitely want to do a quick little commercial, and I want you all to think about what maybe that connection really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
And we are back. So my final thoughts for this Astro Buzz, and of course we're gonna have the new studio to do this show much more better, and it'll be just so much better. But you can only take one step at a time, and I think that's the lesson with the full moon that we had this week. And I didn't even bring that up because there was so much to talk about in the astrology. We had a full moon this week, and it was ironic that Donald Trump got elected the Republican candidate on a full moon when he was born with a full moon. Funny, right? 2, it was a full moon in Capricorn. Now we're in Leo, but I want everybody to know, with you bringing light forward, you're going to have to face darkness. And every time that you face that darkness right now, it might feel like a block, but really it's a step forward to you clearing darkness right now and to clearing and bringing love to aspects. And remember that when you have fear, realize that there is a brightness behind you, that God is behind you, that your angels are behind you, and that no matter what's going down right now, the positive light is on your side. Thanks so much for watching Astro Buzz. I hope that you guys truly enjoyed it. I know this was a little different format today, but you know what? It was a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next Astro Buzz. Thanks so much.